I always like to start these conversations, especially with directors that may be new to folks, which is a question of what was it that, what was the moment or what was the event that happened in your life that made you think, this is what I want to do? I want to make movies.
Great. I love that question. I'll try to make the answer not long because there's a story behind it. But I was 5 years old and I saw E.T. for the first time. So that was that moment where you're like, okay, whatever this feeling is that this movie has conjured up in my soul, I want to be a part of that creation in the future, whatever that means.
Yeah.
Uh, and then the longer version of it is, I was born and raised in Madagascar, so I was a missionary kid, Lutheran missionaries. My parents were doctors, and they worked in the villages a lot, so they'd be in very remote areas. And we did have a TV and a VHS player, and there was this Footlocker that had a trove of VHS tapes that would travel from missionary family to missionary family and stay with the family for months at a time because to even drive 100 miles in Madagascar can take days because
Mhm.
of how road infrastructure is, or there is no road. And so that Footlocker became my film education. And it had movies like E.T., The Goonies, White Fang, The Black Stallion, Empire of the Sun, all the movies that this movie is meant to emulate.
Right.
So so that's kind of how I was like, this, and then there's little movies along the way that, Run Flew to the Cuckoo's Nest showed me how you can make a character drama. And I was like, oh, I want to do that. And Lord of the Rings showed me how to weave character drama into spectacle. Like, oh, I can do that. So there are definitely movies along the way that were signposts for me and led me to where I am now.
See, that's fascinating because I can imagine that if you have experience traveling all over doing this missionary work, you're probably just thinking in terms of story anyway, because you're sort of moving around through these different cultures, through these different stories, right?
Yeah, I've actually never heard it put that way, but yes, absolutely. I think my childhood to many is a weird story and a weird movie in a weird way. I
Mhm.
kind of take it for granted, but absolutely.